I'm back on the road. I'm headed up to Lake Shasta for the Wild West Bass Trail Pro-Am. I'm super pumped to get up there. I love Lake Shasta, and I'm excited to get up there and fish this tournament. Been on the road for about a half an hour now, and Lake Shasta's about 10 hours without traffic. So by the time I stop and hit traffic and all that, I'm guessing it's gonna take me about 12 hours to get up there. First thing I gotta do is go to Phil's Propeller. It's a tackle shop up by the lake. I got a few rods getting shipped up there. I had some FedEx issues that I've been dealing with since last week, and I finally had to get them sent directly up to that tackle shop so I could pick them up and have them for this tournament. So I got a lot of driving ahead of me today. I'm gonna keep checking in with you throughout the day. Let you guys know what's going on. Give you some of my thoughts on Lake Shasta, what I think I'm gonna run into up there, what I hope will do well for me, and just kind of what my game plan going into practice is gonna be. Well, I've been driving for a little over 2 hours now. I just hit some pretty good traffic, and I have a feeling that's gonna happen on and off today. Driving up from Southern California, you're bound to hit traffic along the way. Just gotta drive safe. I'm looking forward to getting up there. Like I was saying before, I gotta head up to Phil's Propellers. It's a tackle shop up there, and I had some FedEx issues on some rods that was getting shipped to me to my house. I got some rods ordered from Powell. They were supposed to be at my house last Thursday. I'm filming this on Tuesday, and they didn't show up. I looked when I got home on Thursday, they weren't there. Gave it an extra day, they weren't there Friday, so then I started looking into it, and then I found out that my rods were in Texas. Powell is located in California. I'm located in California, so there's really no reason for them to be in Texas. So I've been in contact a lot with FedEx, trying to figure out how to get my rods in time, and so far it looks like everything's gonna work out. I had to change the shipping address to somewhere up by Shasta Lake so that way I could get them in order to have them for the tournament. So I didn't have the address to where I'm staying at the time, so I gave them an address of a tackle shop up there that's fairly well known for that lake. So I'm probably gonna head straight there depending on what time I get into town. As long as they're still open, they should get there around 4:30 this afternoon, and then I will have my rods. I'll get my reels put on them and get dialed in for tomorrow, my first day of practice. But I'm just looking forward to getting up there, and you know, driving's probably one of the least fun parts of this whole process. So still driving. I'm on going on hour 5 now on my trip up to Shasta. I just had the opportunity to be interviewed on the Head to Head podcast. While I was driving, I called in and did an interview with them. It was a good conversation. Some good opportunities might come out of it. We'll see. Do me a favor. I'm asking you to please go check out the Head to Head podcast. I'm going to link it in the description of this. I'd really appreciate it if you go check out their YouTube channel, their Instagram, the podcast itself. Go check it out. Go listen to the episode with me. Also, check out some of their other episodes as well. If you like the podcast, subscribe to it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, whatever you prefer. It'd mean a lot to me if you did that. So please go do that. And I got some more driving to do. I'll check in later. Well, I'm still driving out to Lake Shasta right now. I've probably been driving about 5-6 hours now. I still got a ways to go, but I'm getting closer, obviously. It's about noon right now. I'll probably stop and get lunch here when I get to another city where I can get something to eat. But I want to talk a couple things about Shasta that I'm hoping will pan out. Last year I fished up here, caught a bunch of fish, so I'm excited to have the opportunity to catch a bunch of fish, especially after my Lake Havasu event was super tough and bites were super hard to come by. Lake Shasta should be totally different. Should be able to catch a bunch of fish. It's just catching the quality fish that can be a challenge. I really need to try and find the 2-pound plus fish. Those go a long way at Lake Shasta. You know, you're gonna want around 10 to 11 pounds a day to really be in the thick of it. There's big spotted bass in the lake, so they can play a factor. There's a team tournament where, you know, in one day they had 27 pounds or something like that. So there's big fish in there, and big ones can be caught, but typically you're gonna need that, you know, 10, 11, 12 pound a day to really to shine in that tournament. I'm really hoping I can build off of what I learned last year at Lake Shasta and how the lake fished and different areas where I felt like I had some success, and build off that and hopefully put a game plan together over the 2 days of practice that we have for these Wild West events, and catch some quality fish in the tournament and have a good event and cash a check. My goal for this event is to finish in the money. I haven't cashed a check in a Wild West Bass Trail Pro-Am yet. I have on the One Bass Pro-Am side at the US Open 2 years ago, but I haven't cashed one in a Wild West event yet. So that's my goal for this trip, is to finish in the money, and hopefully I can put a game plan together from practice to help me do that. I'm hoping that I can find a shallow bite. Last year I caught a lot of fish deep. You can generally catch fish all over the place at Lake Shasta, but from what it seems like, the bigger fish are shallow this time of year. So hopefully I can find something shallow, maybe a jerkbait bite or even a jig bite or whatever. I don't really care what lure it's on or bait it's on. I just want to find those fish. So for practice, I think I'm going to definitely focus on trying to find some fish shallow, find out if those fish are better quality than the fish I can catch out deep. I'm happy that I'm probably going to have a practice partner for a couple days for the 2 days out there, and that way we can mix up where we're fishing. One of us can fish shallow, one of us can fish deep, or change baits or do whatever, and learn from multiple lines out in the water rather than just mine. Another awesome thing about Lake Shasta is it's beautiful up there. The scenery up there is just awesome. It's a lot different than what I'm used to fishing the desert lakes or fishing out home. Still driving, still heading north. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Got about 3 hours left of my drive. I was hoping to get to the tackle shop to pick up the rods that I have being delivered there. I'm not sure that I'm gonna make it to when they close. They close at 6, and I got about 3 hours until I get there. So if everything's perfect, I would get there just at their closing time. So we'll see what ends up happening as I get closer. Hopefully I can get there in time and pick them up so that way I can have them all ready to go before the morning. Otherwise, I'll have to pick them up at about 5:30 tomorrow morning or somewhere around that time, which is well before safe light. So it'll work out okay either way, but I'd rather get them today. So a big shout out's got to go to Powell Rods, and more specifically Keith Bryan. He's the owner of Powell Rods. When I was having the issue with the shipping and FedEx and everything with the rods that I had ordered from them, he called me personally after I left a voicemail with the office and told me that he was out of town. I think he was in Nashville, and wanted to figure out what he could do, see if he could contact FedEx himself in order to try to figure out how to get these rods to me in time for this tournament. So it was pretty awesome that he went out of his way when he wasn't even in town, wasn't even at the shop, or took my phone call or anything to try to check in, follow up with me to get these rods to me. I was also communicating with him over email after this phone call in order to try to figure out how to get these rods to me in time, and the best solution ended up being having them sent up to Phil's Propeller up near Shasta Lake. So big shout out to Powell Rods. Go check them out. They got awesome rods, awesome prices. I've been using them for years, and I highly recommend them. So I've been communicating with Phil's Propellers up at Shasta Lake, and I got confirmation that my rods have gotten to the shop, so I'm pretty stoked about that. However, it's looking like FedEx might have attached a bill to it, so I'm not happy about that because they already admitted to me on the phone that it was their mistake on what happened to the package and that it got sent to the wrong place and put on the wrong truck. So I got to look into that a little more when I get there and get all the paperwork that's attached to the rod tube and everything. So this little adventure, or this little fiasco, is not over. I thought that it was just gonna finally worked itself out and been dealt with and done, but it looks like I got more work to do when I get there and figure out if I'm supposedly owing them money for a mistake they made themselves. So we'll see. I got about an hour until I get to Phil's Propellers. They close at 6 o'clock and it is pretty much 5 o'clock right now. I don't know if I'm going to make it in time. I'm going to be cutting it very, very close. I'm hoping I get there in time because I definitely want to have, a few hours to be able to deal with FedEx before the non-stop tournament stuff with practice and tackle prep and everything gets going. I'd much rather have this evening to get the FedEx issue straightened out. So hopefully I can get there in time to get this stuff and get working on putting that situation to rest. Once I got to Phil's Propellers, I realized there was no issue, there was no bill. It was actually the receipt for my purchase through Powell, so there was no issues. So thankfully that situation has come to an end and I've got my rods. All right, well, I made it. I've been in the area for a couple hours now. I had to do some running around and eat some dinner, but I made it. I'm here where I'm going to stay for the duration of the event. I'm excited to get it going tomorrow for the first day of practice, and stay tuned for some more videos, some more podcasts, and follow my Lake Shasta event. I'm hoping it's going to be a good one.